The year started out with a lifelong dream of mine. I have wanted to go to Costa Rica since I was 5 years old, listening to the Costa Rica night sounds on a CD in my little Alaskan basement bedroom. Costa Rica was more than I ever could have imagined. 80-degree ocean, deep, warm rivers, incredible sunrises and sunsets. We went on so many beautiful adventures on top of mountains, over crazy bridges, to warm waterfalls. We went sailing on the open water, all while I worked on the Alaska State Fair poster. I tried to find a work-life balance of working, going into the ocean, experiencing what Costa Rica offered, while still completing my obligations. I managed to do some artwork for the incredible Airbnb host that we had, and now friend Sylvia. This was our front view for 2 months. Before we knew it, it was time to head back to Washington. Once when we arrived back into Washington, it was time for me to start working on the poster once again, posing for the imagery that I needed, and endless hours on the computer. March came to a close, and it was time to head back to my home in Alaska. It was still really snowy here. It took about 3 weeks for the weather to warm up enough for me to sleep in my van. I don't have a heater in the van that I have in Alaska, and so I took that time to start painting the State Fair poster. But slowly but surely, the snow started to melt, and I was able to move into the van once again. It's always so bittersweet to come home with this much snow on the ground. I love seeing the seasons change and all the snow melt and breakup happen, but it brings up a lot of memories as well. As the snow melts, it starts to be harvest season, and I get to pour my love into my kombucha brewery. As April came to a close, I started finishing the final touches on the Alaska State Fair poster, and it was released to the public at the State Fair annual meeting. And right as that happened, a windy festival season started for me. I got to spend quality time with my niece and nephew and do my very first event with the Booch Bus. It was so incredible to be able to meet all the people and have them taste my kombucha. I got to go to the Rodoila farm and start some Alaska adventures. I love foraging for ingredients for my kombucha. It is so mindful to me and makes me so happy. But festival season started to kick my ass. A lot of things broke, and I was moving through the festivals. This is one of my favorite festivals of the entire year, Chicken Stock. It is an absolute blast. I love the people here. I love the event, and I am looking forward to coming back. In the middle of June, I got news that I was going to be a booth at the Alaska State Fair. That is a really big deal, and it's pretty rare to get in the first year that you apply. But I knew that being an Alaska State Fair artist this year, it was going to be really important to me to seize this opportunity as much as I could. So I started botanically dyeing clothing, working my festivals on the weekend, coming home and pouring everything that I had into testing clothing and figuring out what I was going to offer. I tried to see my family at least once a week and give myself some downtime. I was so busy in June, and it was a bit maddening for a while, but keeping my family grounded with me really helped me push through. It is now the 1st of July, and it is time for the annual Girdwood Forest Fair. I got to have a double wide booth this year and was able to serve this incredible community in a more comfortable way. I came back to the valley right after that, no day off, and started working on more dye projects. I knew that I needed several hundred pieces to do the Alaska State Fair, and hand dyeing and coming up with all of these ideas was so intense. It was 18 to 19 hours a day, and the state fair was next month. I really started to feel the pressure at this point. I had to earn all of the money to invest into this state fair project every weekend. So it was a little slow going, and I had to pay a lot of money in express shipping to get all of these things to Alaska to be able to print them all in time. It was incredible experience. It was exhausting, but somehow I pushed through. I loved being able to ground myself with my niece and nephew and spend quality time with them. I knew that even though I was so busy with work, I wanted to show them that they were a priority in my life. It is now 2 weeks before the fair, and I got to see the poster printed for the very first time. I had some sketches of what the booth looked like and asked every single person who cares about me to help me get this booth finished. I had to do one last festival and then come home and start screen printing all of the pieces that I have dyed. It was a really intense learning curve, and I was always so scared to try screen printing, but I did it, and the booth came together thanks to all of my family and friends who came through to make this happen for me. It was incredible to see my artwork all over the state of Alaska and the fair. I got to do an artist signing, I joined the mullet competition, and won the mullet competition. I took my niece and nephew on rides, and they helped me sell my art in the booth. But soon I sold out of a lot of artwork the first weekend, ordered more, and it was back to production on the 2 days off. I was able to make these children's wool sets and was honored in a traditional blanket ceremony with a blanket with my artwork on it from the local tribes. It was by far the most rewarding and incredible experience in my entire career. I packed up everything that was left in the booth and put it in Wildhaven Co. in Palmer and completely emptied out the studio. Although with all the work that I put into the booth, I didn't make quite enough money to keep the studio year-round. I ended up having to choose between having my art studio and being on the road, and I chose to be on the road. So it was a mad dash to pack up the studio, move out, say goodbye to my family, and head out of Alaska before the snow flies. It was intense leaving this beautiful state once again, but I arrived back in Washington and started giving Shelby the much needed upgrades. It was time to install a diesel heater. It's been 6 years and I've had no heat, and I reached a point to where I just didn't think that I could handle another winter being cold. She needed a new countertop. I installed that and hit the road. But as soon as I hit the road, Shelby broke down the same day. I was so grateful that my incredible friend picked me up and took me to Bend, and we had several adventures together while Shelby was getting fixed. I hit the road again and went to Utah and experienced some incredible hikes in these beautiful orange rocks that I love so much. Although shutting down the art studio was a painful decision to make, it was not a hard one. This life that I have on the road means so much to me. It's the reason why I work, so that I can make the money to experience these incredible things that the earth has to offer. The road has healed me. It has given me life. It makes me want to live every day. And so I have decided to start a YouTube channel to take you with me, to stay connected with my friends, family, and all of you, and show the world why I love being on the road so much.